Hello students, once again welcome to the video lessons of University Physics, Electricity and Magnetism. This lecture is the last lecture or fourth lecture of the chapter Alternating Current, that is your chapter 31. And this is the lecture 16 of this lecture series. And in this lecture, we'll cover the topics power in alternating current circuits and resonance in alternating current circuits. As you know, in the last lecture, we have discussed about a LRC series circuit with an AC source. So, when a inductor, resistor and a capacitor is connected to an AC source, then AC current is flowing through that means the alternating current is flowing through the circuit. All of you know that. And also the voltage, obviously. This also sinusoidally varies with time. We have discussed what is the voltage across the inductor at an instant of time, what is the voltage across the capacitor, and what is the voltage across the resistor. Then you have discussed what is the voltage of the power source and how it is related to the current, whether they are in phase with each other or not. And we have found there is a phase differential phi. And this phi is related to what? It is related to your voltage across the inductor, voltage across the capacitor, and voltage across the resistor, or you can say resistance, reactance, and inductance. And your tan phi, here phi is the phase angle, and your tan phi is given as your XL minus XC by R. If you have remembered, we have discussed it. And what is the relation between current and voltage? As you know that always B equal to IR. But when you say that there is a resistance R, and here all the circuit elements are there, R is there, and inductor is there, and your capacitor is there. So here, what you are writing here, it is B equal to I into Z, and Z is the total resistance offered by the circuit, but generally it is known as impedance. This is known as impedance. And what is that impedance? This impedance is your R square plus XL minus XC square root over. And what is XL? It is your inductive reactance. That means the resistance offered by the inductor. What is your XC? This is your capacitive reactance. That is the resistance offered by the capacitor. So these things we have discussed. Now we will discuss what is the average power in this circuit. Whether it is related to this phase difference or phase angle or not. So first let us find out what is the average power in this alternating current circuit. As we have discussed here, it is connected to an AC source. You can write the current as I equal to I cos omega t, and phi is the phase difference between I and B. So your B is equal to your B cos omega t plus phi. As you know, I is the instantaneous current, B is the instantaneous voltage, and I is the magnitude of the current, and B is the magnitude of the voltage. Omega is the angular frequency. What is power? Power is voltage into current. Here also, let us find out what is instantaneous power. At any time, what is the power supplied? If the voltage is V, then the current is I. So the power supplied is also V into I. So what is your B? So your B is B cos omega t plus phi into I cos omega t. And to find out the average power, let us write this as B cos omega t into cos phi minus, this would be a B is there. This is B sin omega t into sin phi. So wrongly a B is not there, or you can take this bracket here. So this into I cos omega t. Just a multiplication. Just it is a form of cos A plus B. We are writing cos A into cos B minus sin A into sin B, then multiplied by I cos omega t. And what is this value? If you multiply bi cos square omega t into cos phi minus bi sin omega t into cos omega t into sin phi. Okay. Now this is your, what is your sin omega t into cos omega t? This is sin 2 omega t by 2. So you can write this as bi cos square omega t cos phi minus bi by 2 into sin 2 omega t into sin phi. Now let us find out what is the average value. But this is the instantaneous value. So instantaneously this is the power supplied. So what is the average power? So now let us find out the average power is the average of this value. Let us find out the average of these two values. Okay. So first the average value Vi cos square omega t cos phi. Your V is the voltage amplitude, is a constant quantity. I is the current amplitude, it is constant. Phi is the phase angle. For a particular value of R, L and C and omega, it is also constant. Only which varies, your T varies. So you should take the average value of what? Average value of cos square omega t. And what is the average value of cos square omega t? The minimum value is 0, the maximum value is 1, so average is half. So average value of cos square omega t is half. So this is Bi by 2 cos phi minus Bi by 2 sin phi is constant. So let us find out what is the average value of sin 2 omega t. As you know, the average value of any sin function, that means sin theta, sin 2 theta, whatever you say, it is 0. Because what is the minimum value? Minimum value is minus 1 and the maximum value is 1. So what is the average value? The average value is 0. So you can write P average is Bi by 2 cos phi. So what is the average power supplied? The average power supplied is voltage. The maximum value of voltage, the maximum value of current divided by 2 into cos phi. Okay. So in an AC circuit, the average power is equal to Vi by 2 into cos phi. How can you write it? So Vi by 2, you can write this as V by root 2 into I by root 2 into cos phi. And which is equal to what? What is V by root 2? This is the RMS value of V. So V RMS I RMS into cos phi. So generally you are writing in your many books and while doing the practicals also you know that you are writing P average is Vi cos phi. When you are writing P average is Vi cos phi, so we note that this V and I are the RMS values. Root means square values. So actually already also we have discussed what our meter reading takes or what is rated, everything is calibrated according to RMS value. When you are saying your supply voltage is 220 volt, we are saying this is your RMS value. I think last lectures we have discussed this. So your average power is your VRMS into IRMS cos phi. So for a particular case, particular supply, your average power is depends upon what? The phase angle cos phi. So that's why your cos phi is called power factor. So what is your cos phi? It is called power factor of the circuit. As your power depends upon cos phi. So what is the value of cos phi? Already we have discussed what is tan phi. XL minus XC by R. As you know, tan phi is P by B. So accordingly, if you go to a triangle, you can find what is cos phi. R by R square plus XL minus XC square root over, which you can write as R by Z. What is Z? Just we have discussed impedance. So your average power is Vi by 2 cos phi or VRMS IRMS cos phi. Now let us draw a phasor diagram. When you draw a phasor diagram, as you know that the amplitude of the current, it is the rotating phasor. Similarly, the amplitude of the voltage is the rotating phasor, and at any instant of time, you are saying this I is the phase angle is omega t, but there is a but in this case of B, what is the phase angle? Omega t plus phi. We are writing B equal to what? Cos omega t plus phi, and phi is the phase difference between B and I. So this is the phasor for voltage, this is the phasor for current. And what is the power here? Power is Vi by 2 cos phi. If you take phasor for RMS value, then it is B RMS, this is I RMS. Then what is your power? V RMS, I RMS cos phi. And if this is your I, this angle is your phi. So this is what V cos phi. If this is I RMS, this is V RMS cos phi. So also you can write what is the average power. You can write this is I multiplied by the component of phasor B, which is in phase with I. Okay. So this you can say the power. And obviously when there is no phase difference, the phase angle is 0. What is the power? Power is V into I. So when the phase angle is 0, power is V into I. Okay. So now let us consider for different circuits. So as we have mentioned, the power in alternating circuits. Suppose you consider a particular case, only a resistive circuit, a circuit containing resistor only. What is the power? In that case, what is the power? Power is something you can say P average is your Bi by 2 cos phi. But in that case, what is the phase difference between V and I? The phase difference between V and I is 0. So what is the average power? So the average power is Vi by 2, which is equal to V RMS into I RMS. Now let us consider for a circuit containing inductance, then a circuit containing capacitance. Yeah, it is mentioned reactive circuit. Reactive means what here? Circuit containing inductive reactance or capacitive reactance. In this case, also the same thing. Average power is Vi cos phi by 2. But what is your phi? Phi is either plus 90 degree or minus 90 degree. When it is an inductive circuit, the voltage leads the current by 90 degrees, so phi is plus 90 degree. But when it is a capacitive circuit, it lags, the voltage lags the current, so it is minus 90 degree. But whatever may be, your cos phi is 0. So what is the average power? Average power is 0. Okay. So in case of a pure inductive circuit or pure capacitive circuit, the average power is 0, as the power factor is 0. But in general, we can write the power factor as Vi by 2 cos phi. Now here some graphs are there to represent the case of pure resistor, pure inductor, pure capacitor and a arbitrary AC circuit. Now he carefully observe the graph. Here everything is mentioned. This is B, this is I, this is P, power. So see, this is the curve for the voltage oscillating. This is also current is oscillating. But see, also the power is oscillating. But what you are observing? Voltage is having a maximum peak value here. It is positive, but in this case it is negative. Similarly, the current is having oscillating positive 0, then negative to 0 like this. But what is the power? As power is V into I, if you multiply, it is having all positive values. So what is the average power? This value, it is not equal to 0. It is half V into I. Now consider a pure inductor circuit here. When you plot the graph for power, because already we have discussed about the voltage curve and the current curve. Now see, this is the power. See, this is the power curve. So what is the power? This one. So this is alternating positive and negative with the same peak value. So what is the average? 0. Here also the same thing. The same thing. It is having alternating positive and negative values. So what is the average power? 0. But here you see, It is also having here some positive values and negative values, you see. But depending upon, of course, the value of E and I cos phi, if the positive value and negative value, they are not equal. So it is having some power factor. So it doesn't necessarily that always it is positive or always this value is more and this is less. It depends upon all these quantities, particularly the phase angle phi. But here if you see this value is more and this is less, so this is your average power, and what is the value? Half pi cos phi. Okay. So now this is about the power in AC circuit. So when it is a pure resistor, the power is half pi. When it is a pure inductive circuit or capacitive circuit, the average power is 0. But for arbitrary AC circuit, it is half pi cos phi, where phi is the phase angle. So now here it is mentioned that a low power factor is usually undesirable. So this is an important point. So I think it should be discussed. Why always a low power factor is undesirable? So it is not that means if power factor is less, there is a problem. So for low power factor means what? If cos phi is less, cos phi is less means what? Obviously phi is more. Under this situation, what happens? A large current is needed to supply a given amount of power for a given potential difference. This results in large losses in the transmission lines. As you know that the loss is I square R. So many types of AC machinery draw a lagging current. That is, the current drawn by the machinery lags the applied voltage. Hence the voltage leads the current, so phi greater than 0 and cos phi less than 1. If a capacitor is connected parallel to the output, then the current drawn by the capacitor leads the voltage, which compensates for the lagging current in the other branch of the circuit. The capacitor itself absorbs no net power from the line, as you know, so the power factor can be corrected towards the ideal value of 1. And obviously, if the power factor is 1, it is an ideal circuit. But if it is not 1, but it should be not very less. It should be close to 1. Now, resonance in RLC series circuit. This is one important thing. All of you heard about resonance. In mechanical vibrations, you are having resonance. Means what? The amplitude becomes maximum. And when resonance occurs? When the frequency of the external periodic force is equal to the natural frequency of the oscillation or the natural frequency of vibration. So here, what do you mean by resonance in RLC series circuit? But you have heard this name. Let us consider about radio signal. The radio signal of a given frequency produces a current of the same frequency in the receiver circuit. But the amplitude of the current is greatest if the signal frequency equals the particular frequency to which the receiver circuit is tuned. You are using many times this word. When properly you cannot see the audio in a radio, what you are saying? The frequency is not properly tuned. Then you are trying to tune and you are saying that this station is available in that frequency, this is available in that frequency. So whenever you are getting the resonance, accordingly you are getting the voice. So what does it mean by? That means when there is a circuit in the radio, when this circuit, the natural frequency of this circuit matches with the external frequency, that means you can see the frequency of the radio wave. Then only you can say that the circuit is properly tuned. Then let me tell you what is the natural frequency of this LRC series circuit. So if you can recall the LC oscillations, when there is no resistance of the inductor or capacitor or the connecting wire, we are considering an ideal circuit. What is the frequency? If you remember, this frequency is 1 by LC. That means when there is no damping, there is no resistance, the circuit should oscillate with a what frequency? The circuit should oscillate with a frequency of 1 by LC root over. So this frequency is known as what? The resonant angular frequency, of course, because your frequency is 1 by 2 pi, 1 by LC root over. Okay, but whenever there is resistance, that means in LRC circuit, the frequency decreases, and when it is not connected with the AC source, as you know, the current gradually decreases, then it becomes zero, and you know that you are getting the three types of circuits: under damped, critically damped, over damped. Okay, so this is your what? This frequency is your 1 by LC root over is your natural angular frequency. So let us see in this case actually what happens. When there is a LRC series circuit with an AC source, all of you know that your I is the current and V is the voltage. This is the current amplitude, this is the voltage amplitude. So how they are related? I equal to V by Z. What is your Z? Z is the impedance. So you can write this also as V by R square plus XL minus XC square root over. Because you know that your impedance is R square plus XL minus XC square then root over of this. So now let us see, for a particular circuit, you have designed a circuit with a particular value of L, R and C. So how can you get the maximum current? And another thing is that you are having a AC source with a particular voltage. So your voltage is fixed, R is fixed, L is fixed, C is fixed. But only you can change the frequency, that is your omega. So how can you make I maximum? So obviously when this will be minimum. So current I will be maximum, this will be minimum. So minimum means you cannot say your R equal to 0, L equal to 0, C equal to 0. You cannot say. Because you have designed a circuit with some finite value of R, some value of L and C. Then in that case, what will be the minimum value? So this Z can be minimum only when your this value will be 0. Your R cannot be 0, L cannot be 0, sorry, but you can make XL minus XC equal to 0. So we have to choose omega, the frequency in such a manner that your XL should be equal to XC. Then I will be maximum. So that is your XL minus XC is 0. What is your XL? Omega into L. What is your XC? 1 by omega C. So what is your omega? 1 by LC root over. That means mathematically also we find that the current amplitude will be maximum only when the frequency of the supplied source is equal to 1 by LC root over, that is the natural angular frequency, or you can say the undamped frequency. Okay, so this is also termed as your resonant frequency. Okay, so let us consider this as omega 0 so that we will not confuse. So this omega 0 is also known as your resonant frequency or resonant angular frequency. This is actually your not resonance. Sorry, this is your resonant angular frequency. At this angular frequency, current will maximum. So you can write the frequency as omega 0 by 2 pi. So if the circuit will be tuned to this frequency, then you can get the maximum amplitude of current for a given voltage source. Now here, some graphs are plotted. Here you see. Here it is a logarithmic graph. So that when you are plotting XC and XL, you will go more or less the similar type of graph means obviously your XA in that case decreases with increase of omega, but XL increases. But if it is not a logarithmic graph, then what is your XL? It is a straight line passing through the origin. That's why it is taken in logarithmic scale. Logarithmic scale. Then now what you are observing? You see here, this is the graph for XC, this is the graph for XL. At a particular point, they intersect with each other. What is that point? Omega 0. So when, what does it mean by when XC equal to XL? Then your omega is equal to omega 0. That means your resonant frequency. Now this is what? This is the graph for Z. So when XL equal to XC, your Z is minimum. What is the minimum value of Z? Again I am telling, the minimum value of Z is not 0. But the minimum value of Z is equal to R. The minimum value of Z is equal to R. So that means at this point your Z is equal to R. So at natural angular frequency your Z is equal to R. So this is maximum when X is equal to X. Now what does this graph show? This is also in logarithmic scale. This graph shows log omega versus your current impedance as well as your phase angle phi. Let us compare. This is the value of resonant frequency. Obviously, this is log omega 0. At omega 0, what you are observing? When the frequency is resonant angular frequency, you see the current is maximum. But what about Z? It is minimum. See this point. This is minimum, Z is minimum, I is maximum, and this is your omega 0. What is your phase angle? Phase angle is 0. Because when XL equal to XC, what is your tan phi? Tan phi is XL minus XC by R. When XL is equal to XC, then what is tan phi? 0. Then phi equal to 0. So there is no phase. So current is maximum, phase angle is 0, impedance is minimum. Then you get the maximum current and which is your resonance. Then here the current only depends upon the value R. Because when XL equal to XC, you can write what is your B? B is equal to I into R. It is I into Z, but at that case Z is equal to R, so you can write B is equal to I into R. Now let us see how the resonance curve changes with change in frequency. This thing you know that for resonant angular frequency Z is minimum, I is maximum, phi is 0. Suppose you take a very small value of R. What is your current I? B equal to IR, so I equal to B by R. When the current is very small, you get a sharp peak because your current is, when R is very small, you will get a sharp peak because your current is maximum. Then you take R is a comparatively larger value. Then the peak is like that. Also, you get a I is less and the peak is comparatively a broad peak. And when R is very much large, you get a broad peak. Because in this case, the rate of decrease in current on either side of resonance frequency also less the rate of decrease. But here, when just you get the resonant frequency, the current is very large, but certainly the current falls when the frequency deviates from resonant angular frequency. So this is your resonant curve, which is quite similar to that of the resonant curve in your mechanical oscillations. So this is all about the resonance in LRC series circuit and the power in LRC series circuit. Now let us see how much you have understood. Here a very simple problem is given. So this figure shows that during a part of a cycle of oscillation, the instantaneous power delivered to the circuit is negative. The instantaneous power delivered to the circuit is negative. This means that energy is being extracted from the circuit, obviously. When power supplied to the circuit, we can say that some power is supplied to the circuit, you take it as positive. But as it is negative, it is obvious that the energy is being extracted. So where is the energy extracted? Because here from the graph it is clear that the circuit is having all the three components: resistor, inductor and capacitor. So when the energy is extracted from the resistor, from the inductor or the capacitor or from the AC source, where does the energy go? To the resistor, to the inductor, to the capacitor, to the AC source, or more than one of these. That means it can go either to the resistor, either to the inductor, either to the capacitor. So much things we have discussed about the power in an AC circuit. So think about the answer. So here the energy cannot be extracted from the resistor because you know that the energy is dissipated in a resistor. So the energy must be extracted either the inductor or the capacitor. So that means the answer you can say more than one of these. So either it can be extracted from the inductor or the capacitor. Okay. So you cannot say it is 1, 2 or 3 like that because it can be inductor, it can be the capacitor. Now the second thing. Positive power means what? Energy being transformed from AC source to the circuit. When positive power energy is transformed from the AC source to the circuit means it can transfer to any either inductor to the capacitor. But here it is negative power. So that means it is transferred back to the source. So the energy is transferred back to the source. So another small question. How does the resonance frequency of an LRC series circuit change if the plates of the capacitor are brought closer together? Obviously, either it will increase or decrease or it is unaffected. But what will happen? Again, I am reading the question. How does the resonance frequency of an LRC series circuit change if the plates of the capacitor are brought closer together? What is resonance frequency? 1 by LC root over. Remember one thing. Resonant frequency is always 1 by LC root over. It depends upon the inductance and capacitance of the circuit. Here we are changing the capacitance. How it is changing? We are that is what is given. We are bringing close. The capacitor plates are close together. So what is the change in capacitance? If you remember, what is your capacitance? Epsilon naught A by D. D is what? Space between the plates of the capacitor. D is decreased because the plates are coming closer. As D is decreased, so what is the capacitance? Capacitance increases. So when capacitance increases, as your frequency is 1 by LC root over angular frequency, and frequency is 1 by 2 pi into root over of 1 by LC, as C increased, what is the resonant frequency? It decreases. So it is a simple answer. Now, so let's work out a small problem. So what is the problem? A capacitor is connected across an AC source that has voltage amplitude 60 volt and frequency 80 Hz. So here a capacitor is connected to an AC source having voltage amplitude 60 volt and frequency 80 Hz. What is the phase angle phi for the source voltage relative to the current? Does the source voltage lag or lead the current? What is the capacitance of the capacitor if the current amplitude is 5.3 ampere? Current amplitude is given, voltage amplitude is given, and it is the case of a capacitor. Okay. So now let us find out what is the first phase angle, then find out the capacitance. Here in this case, the AC circuit only contains a capacitor. When it contains only a capacitor, already we have discussed what? The voltage lags the current by 90 degree. So your phase angle is, as it lags, you can write phi is minus 90 degree. As this is only the capacitor is there, what is the voltage across the capacitor? B equal to I into XC. B equal to I into XC. B is given. What is B? 60 volt. And I is given 5.3 ampere. So which is equal to what? 11.3 ohm. So XC is 11.3 ohm. That is your capacitive reactance. But what is capacitive reactance? 1 by omega C, which is equal to 1 by 2 pi f into C, because your frequency is given. So your C is accordingly you can find out omega C by 2 pi f or 1 by 2 pi f xc, because already you are finding what is xc, which is equal to 176 microfarad. So easily you can find out. Now another problem. So it is the LRC series circuit. In the last case we have discussed it contains only a capacitor. Here then LRC series circuit. The source is operated at its resonant frequency. This is important. At this frequency, the reactance of the capacitor is 200 ohm. The reactance Xc of the capacitor. Or you can say simply the capacitive reactance is 200 ohm and the voltage amplitude across the capacitor is 600 volt. The circuit has R equal to 300 ohm. What is the voltage amplitude of the source? So here this point is important. It is work at its resonant frequency means what? Xc is equal to XL. So here, whatever may be, all of you know that voltage across the capacitor is current into XC. So what is your I? DC is given, XC is given. So current is 3 ampere. But as it is resonance also here, as it is operating at resonance, the resistance is giving 300 ohm. When the circuit is operating at resonant angular frequency, all of you know that what is your current? I equal to V by I or V equal to I into R, because your impedance is equal to resistance. So impedance is given. So current is given, or you are finding the current from this. So what is V? I into Z, which is equal to 900 volt. So this is all about the chapter 31, that is your alternating current. We have discussed about the basic ideas of alternating current, phasor diagram, circuit containing reactance, that means circuit containing inductor, capacitor and resistor, then LRC series circuit. What is the power in the LRC series circuit and the resonance in LRC series circuit. This is the completion of your chapter 31. In the next lecture, we will discuss about chapter 32, that is about electromagnetic waves. If you remember, from chapter 21 to 26, we have discussed about electricity and different electrical circuits. From 27 to 31, about magnetism, particularly up to 30. Then different circuits, and 31 particularly your circuits with AC source. Then in chapter 32 we'll discuss about electromagnetic waves. Let us meet in the next lecture. So thank you all.